Everybody, welcome to this final module, Module 8 of Office Management. I just want to congratulate you on making it to the end of the course. You've all done such a great job, and I have enjoyed being on this journey with you. Now, in this very last module, we're going to talk about ethics and confidentiality. These are two of the most important responsibilities that you're going to have as an office professional. This goes beyond a skill, okay? This is going to speak to something that you have to be internally in order to be successful in this field. It's something that is absolutely essential to building trust with your employers and then with the other people that you come in contact with during your work day. Every day in an office environment, depending on the office, you may have access to sensitive information. You really might. And how you handle that information says a lot about your professionalism and your integrity. Okay? That's so important. So let's start out with looking at ethics. Ethics in the workplace refers to the principles that guide your behavior and decision making, right? These include things like honesty, fairness, responsibility, and respect. And I think all you have to do is watch the news right now or any time to see how important this is. How many scandals have we had in our country in recent decades because of unethical people in the business world who have charge of other people's money and have done great damage, okay? You don't want to be part of that pack. You want to be an ethical person in all areas of your life, and you want that for sure to be demonstrated in your work world. As an administrative professional, ethical behavior means being accurate in your work, even if it takes a minute. Don't just slop something down because you're ready to be done with this report. Make sure it's accurate, okay? That's important. You got to take responsibility for your actions. You've got to make sure that you treat other people with professionalism, all other people, regardless of their role or position. Treat the people that come in with the same level of respect that you treat your boss. Just treat everybody with dignity and respect. There are three components that are key to this that I want you to remember. First is integrity. You have to be honest and transparent in everything you do. Second is responsibility. Take ownership of your work and learn from your mistakes, okay? And third is respect. You have to treat colleagues, clients, and others professionally at all times. And it matters because ethical behavior builds trust. It helps create a positive work environment, strengthens relationships, and protects both you and your organization from potential problems, okay? Confidentiality is also going to be a major part of your role, and it kind of goes along with your ethics. You have to be an ethical person to make sure to understand how to preserve confidentiality. And this is so important as an administrative assistant because you're going to maybe handle things like employee records. I have access to people's social security numbers because of the documents I have to keep charge of, because of the reports I have to enter, because of the things I have to adjust. That requires me, I have to keep that confidential. I can't show those things to other people. You might have access to records that truly could do damage to the lives of other people if they were released. So you need to be very serious about this, about holding confidentiality. You may have financial information, client data. You may have some health records on people in certain businesses. Internal communications. You may just have information that's not meant to be shared publicly, even if it's not official. As your role, when you get close to your supervisor as an administrative assistant or an office professional, whatever the title is, and they see you as that backbone of the office, they are probably going to say things to you that they do not want repeated. Everybody has to vent sometimes, and your boss may say to you about another employee, that person makes me want to drive nails in my eyeballs, right? But no good can come from you sharing that. You understand? We have to learn what is to be shared and what's not to be shared. And it's not just the official things like social security numbers and health records. We don't need to share information that is going to bring harm to the institution if we share it, okay? It's important to remember these types of things. There are a few best practices to follow, especially when you're talking about official records and confidentiality. First, understand your organization's policy. Know what information is considered confidential and know how it is expected to be handled. Second, control access. Make sure only authorized individuals can view sensitive information, whether that's physical documents or digital files. Third, handle data carefully. That includes storing documents. We talked about this in the module where we talked about maybe using Dropbox and things that you can access from outside of work to get to your files. Make sure that confidential documents are stored very securely. Use encryption when it's needed. Properly dispose of unneeded information. Don't just throw something away that has someone's personal information written on it. Make sure it's shredded when it's no longer needed. This can be as simple a thing as when I get up from my computer, I be sure and hit the lock button. So you have to have my password to open my screens back up. Just when I'm going to the restroom, I do that, because if someone got to digging in my computer while I was gone, they might come across something that's not meant for other people to see. Finally, be aware and report concerns. We have training about this at work. You probably will wherever you work. If you notice something that doesn't seem right, it feels like something's been breached, it's important to speak up, right? You need to call your IT people and say, be honest, be ethical. If you open that link and go, oh, I shouldn't open that, that was some sort of malware, be sure you call and report and let them know what's happening. Sometimes ethics and confidentiality are going to overlap in challenging ways. And you're going to have to figure out which wins out, right? We've seen that again in scandals in our nation. Sometimes people have to be whistleblowers and tell on things that are happening that the company might prefer to keep confidential. You have to know where those lines are. But just in the day-to-day, you may be in a situation where you know something that other people want to know, but you're not allowed to share it. In those cases, it's important to balance transparency with confidentiality. You don't want people to think things are being hidden from them, but that doesn't mean you can give out confidential information, okay? Be honest about what you can and cannot share, and when in doubt, seek guidance from your supervisor or HR. You always, as an office professional, will have that ability to say, I can set you up an appointment with my supervisor, or I can direct you to HR, but I cannot give you that information. That type of thing. That's the beauty of not being the boss, is you can pass the buck, okay? Just make sure that you hold the confidentiality that you are meant to hold. You're not expected to have all the answers, but you are expected to make responsible decisions, okay? Another important part of this lesson is promoting ethical behavior in the workplace. It's not just about actions, it's about the environment you help create. You can do this by leading by example, by making sure you follow policies and legal guidelines, and encouraging others to act ethically as well. Not by being preachy or getting down on other people in ways they're just going to ignore, but by really leading by example. This is the level of ethical behavior that we want this organization to uphold. If you see unethical behavior, it's important to address it appropriately, okay? Ignoring issues leads to bigger problems down the line. Now, this assignment this week is to write a short essay. It's a short essay about a time you faced an ethical dilemma and how you handled it. Please remember, if you ask ChatGPT, it will give you all a very similar dilemma, and I'm going to pick up on that. Again, this is not an essay where I'm going to grade it as if I was an English teacher. I just want to know that you understand what ethical behavior is at work, in the workplace, how it should look, and how to respond appropriately, and that you have some understanding of how this is going to affect your day-to-day life in the office. Okay, don't forget your quiz in the middle of doing that, and then after that, you're going to have your final, and that will be a wrap on this course. I have enjoyed working with you very much. Best of luck to you and everything that comes next for you.